epicenter of protests since last night. It saw protests all day today. The reason of that was the suicide of a 27-year-old scholar student, Vemula Rohith. And he said in his suicide note he didn't blame anyone but his colleagues. All the other students, they're up in arms against the authorities of the university and against the HRD ministry. In fact, the protests have now spread to the capital, and we saw various political organizations, students' organizations protesting outside Smriti Irani's house as well. The reason for that is that the student who committed suicide was suspended from the university just 2 days ago on the allegation that he, along with 4 other Dalit students of the Ambedkar Students' Union, that they allegedly manhandled an ABVP activist early last year. And because of that, State Union Minister Dattatreya had written a letter complaining, and that's why this action was allegedly taken. Of course, the Union Minister of State has completely denied that his letter had anything to do with the Students' Union. But the students there at the Hyderabad Central University are not willing to accept that. So let's just hear what they had to say.
दलित विद्यार्थी जो आत्महत्या कर ली है, उससे मेरे लेटर को कोई संबंध नहीं है, लेकिन जो यूनिवर्सिटी में जो शांति और अमन भंग करके एंटी सोशल एक्टिविटीज, एंटी नेशनल एक्टिविटीज चल रहे थे और एबीवीपी कार्यकर्ताओं को बहुत मारकर पीटकर ये करे थे, वो टाइम में उन्हें एबीवीपी लोग आकर एक रिप्रेजेंटेशन दिया. उसी रिप्रेजेंटेशन को मैंने मिनिस्ट्री को फॉरवर्ड किया.
As the MP Bandaru Dattatreya, he wrote all the Ambedkarite students, anti-casteist, nationalist, extremist. He is stressing that words, national extremist. What the national extremism these Ambedkarites are doing here? What they are doing? If he has any facts, he has to come for the debate.
University forced him to go under so much of mental pressure. His fellowship was stopped for 7 months, and he was restricted from the hostel. And his family economic social condition is very bad. So in that situation, he was struggling to survive himself.
First generation students who are coming with a great effort to this campus to show this society, this is our society and everybody is part of it. But this attack is majorly from the BJP side, and because Rohith Vemula being a Dalit, they have attacked him, and this is the situation which have led to him, and this is not a suicide, we will call it an institutionalized murder.
So on agenda tonight, we'll try and get more of the story, exactly what caused this suicide. We are also joined by Dalit activists and academics. We have N. Paul Divakar, he is of the national convener of the National Campaign on Dalit Human Rights, and we have Dr. Arvind Kumar of Jamia. He works at the Center for Dalit and Minority Studies. So both of them over here, both leaders over here. Let's just go across first to my colleague Uma Sudhir, who joins us with some of the students' friends, some of the people who were also affected by the action by the university. Uma, what is it that they're saying? Who are they blaming? How are they linking the suicide? Because the note seems a little ambiguous. How are the other students blaming it on what happened with the ABVP?
Sunitra, this obviously has a long background, this tragic death of the student yesterday. Right now, I must tell you, I am at the Hyderabad Central University campus, and behind me you can see actually the chairperson of the SC/ST Commission, Mr. P.L. Punya, and there is also the University of Hyderabad Teachers Association and the students who were in fact suspended by this entire campus. They are demanding, they are putting forth their demands, asking and demanding in fact action against the union ministers. So what is the connection of Mr. Bandaru Dattatreya with this entire event? I must go back to 2015 when, after Yaqub Memon's hanging and also the featuring of Muzaffarnagar Abhi Baki, a film in the Delhi University, and there were some protests. Hyderabad University in fact screened the same film, and they had held a protest saying that they are against capital punishment per se, and they had this protest. After which, an ABVP leader, Sushil Kumar, we are told, had poked fun at the Ambedkar Students' Union and made some uncharitable remarks on Facebook. That is where the bitterness started, and then there was a fisticuff, a fight between the two groups, Ambedkar Students' Union and the ABVP, following which a proctorial committee, a board, had inquired into the incident. Initially, the students, the Dalit students, were given a clean chit, but what the students are now alleging is that ABVP student Sushil Kumar complained to Bandaru Dattatreya, who subsequently wrote a letter to HRD Minister Smriti Irani, alleging that activities on the campus are anti-national, that they are casteist, and also calling these students as radical. That is something that all of them are angry about, and they believe that it is the pressure put by Bandaru Dattatreya on Smriti Irani and subsequently on the university management that these students were actually suspended. And as recently as 2 weeks ago, they were in a sense socially boycotted because they were not allowed inside the hostel premises, nor allowed to access the mess, and they were in fact sleeping in the open right there. That little tent that you see, which has actually some figures of Ambedkar, it has Periyar's figure as well, Kanchiram's figure as well. That is where these students were sleeping, and they believe that the Vice Chancellor should have reached out to these students. I must point out, Sunetra, that even though the alleged suicide note of Rohith is not pointing fingers at anybody, what the students are saying is that on the 18th of this month, Rohith had written to the Vice Chancellor saying that he is not getting his money, that his issues must be looked at by the Vice Chancellor, but that there was no response. So the tension certainly continues on the campus, and as you can see, huge meetings are still going on. Back to you, Sunetra.
So a meeting going on, and very quickly, Uma Sudhi, I wanted to say that the central government over here, Smriti Irani, has already given a statement saying that the centre has nothing to do with it. It's an internal matter. Has the Vice Chancellor at all reacted?
The Vice Chancellor has not reacted to this particular incident. In fact, the university's professors also tried to go and meet him. They could not meet him either in his office premises or at home. What we are being told is that he's probably in a private hotel fearing a law and order situation, and that's the reason why he has not come out and spoken. We have also tried to contact him, and he has not been contactable. Sunitra.
Oh. Uma Sudhir there reporting from Hyderabad at the university, and as she was showing over there those meetings in progress. We're also joined by Martin McEwen, the founder of the Dalit Foundation from Ahmedabad. On the phone line, we have Shyam Sundar of the ABVP. Mr. Sundar, I just want to start off with you before we go to our other guests over here. What does the ABVP have to say about the fact that the students are alleging it's because of those comments on Facebook where one of your leaders said on Facebook that all the students of Ambedkar Students' Union, they are responsible for that, and they were attacked viciously. The Ambedkar Students' Union was attacked viciously by the ABVP, which they feel is one of the factors leading to suicide. Shyam Sundar ji?
Yeah. Good evening, one and all. So first, why first of all, I strongly pay my tributes to the Mr. Rohith Vemula. So he's actually my friend of the university. He's doing the PhD from the Science and Technology. So it's unfortunate event has happened. Now today is the University of Hyderabad in the news. So actually, when coming to this matter, it actually unfortunately happened from the July 30th incident. So July 30th, Supreme Court has given a verdict of Yaqub Memon hanging. So due to that, University of Hyderabad Ambedkar Students Association has paid prayers to the Yaqub Memon, and they have strongly condemned the activities. This is responsible for the ABVP and RSS and BJP. So they have given the strong slogans like, "Tum kitne Yaqub mar gaye, har ghar se Yaqub niklenge." So they have given the strong slogans in that way. So we have our student union, our Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad president, Mr. Sushil Kumar, has condemned this issue. So you are behaving like a gundos and you are behaving, you are supporting in terms of anti-social element, how it will be a justice, how you will be a questioning the Supreme Court verdict. So as you are following the Ambedkar name, but it is saying you are not following the Ambedkar ideology. Ambedkar has written the Constitution of India. As per the Constitution of India, Supreme Court has given the verdict. So how you will question? So that is that. So as a university president has given a condemn your issue, so you are supposed to go and ask him. But in the late night, 1:30 a.m. on the 4th August, so mob of the people, more than 40 members, they went to his room in the annex, so strongly beaten him in the university hostel. So what is the issue? So and they strongly, forcefully asked Sushil Kumar to write an apology letter and post in the Facebook. He done it. So then he subsequently was
let me get the other guests in over here. And Paul Debakar, what do you make of this entire incident? Is it just a fight between two students' organizations? One of them happens to be a Dalit student organization, which has gone horribly wrong.
See, one thing is it cannot be seen in isolation. Of course, we have to look at the facts of the case.
Yeah.
And the facts of the case very clearly say that there has been an abuse by one section of the ABVP students on the Ambedkar Student Association, and they have posted certain abusive comments on the Facebook.
They are saying abuse was on the other side as well. Okay.
Yeah, but then abusive comments on the Facebook were there, and then this was brought to the notice of the security officer. Security officer has cleared them, and then he has agreed to do that. But then after going back, there seems to be a kind of a upturn again. And then he has withdrawn and he has gone to hospital and then claimed to the police that there has been a violence against him, that is Sushil Kumar, and this has been done by the Ambedkar Students Association and naming a few people. Now that's the facts of the case, and these people were protesting against that. That's not the case. Now what we'll have to see is, this is the facts of the case. You have to see it in the totality of what is happening to the Dalit students in the so-called centers of excellence. There has been, both by the students and by the faculty and the wider administration, that their demands, whenever they used, first of all, they were using the constitutional provisions when they were saying that capital punishment, it's not a question of who, the capital punishment should be abolished as such.
Okay.
So when they were making this, they were seen as making anti-national terrorist kind of a thing.
Okay,
and suddenly, just one more,
that
whenever they are making the kind of their constitutional demands, they have been targeted and excluded, and this has been the scene in the Hyderabad Central University when they had rusticated 11 scholars about 10 years ago. The similar fashion they have rusticated 11 in the same Hyderabad Central University.
And if we come back from that kind of trend that you're pointing out to this particular case, Arvind Kumar, you feel, you've gone through his suicide letter, we'll just show that to our audience as well, you feel that also talks about, in the subtext of that is also very clear of the kind of suffering that Dalit students go through.
That's right, Sunitra. Look, I cannot just, because I'm very pained when I came to this studio. Last time I came on 14th of April. That was Baba Saheb's birth anniversary. And the way the central government was trying to appropriate Ambedkar, then I had said one thing, that you cannot appropriate both Gandhi and his murderer. You cannot appropriate both Savarkar and Ambedkar.
Okay.
So this contradiction you'll have to, settle down.
And what do you see in his letter?
I just have to start reading his letter where he says, good morning. Just look at the letter what he writes. I would not be around when you read this letter. Don't get angry on me. I know some of you truly cared for me, loved me and treated me very well. I have no complaints on anyone. It was always with myself I had problems. I feel a growing gap between my soul and my body. And I have become a monster. I always wanted to be a writer of science like Carl Sagan. Just look at the poetry in his letter. this
But he
is
doesn't
a
refer
case
to
of
anything
no.
happening now.
That's what I'm saying. He's not alleging that somebody will be responsible for my murder. But a student of science and technology writing such a powerful literary flair.
Yeah.
He's a very brilliant student. One death for us is a tragedy. Many deaths is a statistics. What I'm trying to suggest, Sunetra, here, that it is a case of clear humiliation. I had written a piece after Ashish Nandi's case. Ashish Nandi himself,
let's
I
not
had
go
to
into
know,
that,
know
yeah,
why it is necessary to get into, because a scholar of Ashish Nandi's stature defines humiliation as a two-way process. Meaning, just to give a small example,
Yeah.
Sunetra, you say like, you are a donkey, and I say, yes, I am. I'm not.
So
getting
you're saying that the
humiliated.
Facebook comments humiliated
Yes.
him, which, okay.
Seriously.
Martin McEwen, is this something that you agree with, or do you have a different take on this?
Sorry, I couldn't get. Okay.
Martin McEwen, do you have a different take on this?
Oh yeah, I've been listening this, and my only question is, who is ready to take responsibility for the death of the student? The union government says we are not responsible, and we are find a pretext in the letter of the student where he says that please don't hold anybody responsible. I think we are undermining what's happening after almost 7 decades of independence, that the situation so far as the caste prejudices are concerned have not changed at all in this country. I want to ask a simple question at this year when we are celebrating 125th birth anniversary of Dr. Ambedkar, and this is not for the first time. I remember Professor Thorat, the ex-UGC chairman, had conducted a study on the caste discrimination happening in the higher educational institutions in India. That was 2 years back.
Yeah.
And this was not the first study of its kind. There were several studies. The question is, now that this issue has come up, we will discuss it for 1 or 2 days, and then the life will become very normal.
Yes.
Imagine a student,
Yes.
who is doing a PhD into a higher education system like science, is pushed to that level where he does not see any meaning in life. I mean, in my work areas, I have in Gujarat, I have seen primary education students also committing suicide because of caste prejudices.
Yeah.
My question is
So,
there
sir-
anybody in this country who is saying that, I take responsibility for this?
Okay, so we'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about that in just a bit when we come back, and also the central government's reaction. How should they handle it? Be right back.